Justin Fields at some point can be a Geno Smith-like player now. Ideally, most people are going to compare and hope that Fields could be like Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it still could hold true that you could have success with your franchise and your team like the Seahawks have the last 2 years and have a quarterback like Geno Smith.
I think that that's not the ceiling I want for my quarterback is Geno Smith, because I don't think that that's sustainable. I don't think that level of, I want higher. Like if you had changed your argument and if we go back in time 7 minutes and you say, watching last night's game, I look at the quarterbacks and I say, can Justin Fields be Dak Prescott, which is a conversation we've had before, I would say yes. That is something I would love to see. I would love to see Justin Fields be the quality of quarterback and the caliber of quarterback, because Dak has always been that cutoff line of good quarterbacks and like mediocre quarterbacks. Like we name our top 5 quarterbacks, we argue about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we get to Dak. And Dak is playing at a close to MVP level. He's probably not going to win it, but this year he's playing close to an MVP level. He also has a very good defense around him. He's got great weapons around him. I would like, if you had switched the names, I would have switched my answer and said I would like him to be Dak, where we're debating whether or not he's an elite quarterback rather than just a guy who really didn't do anything for a bunch of years and then has had 2 decent years.
I agree with you. I think he can be that. And I think if you look at early Dak Prescott, I think Justin Fields isn't too far off of what early Dak Prescott was. Mm-hmm. But then Justin has to now take a step forward. Like that's where Dak really took a step forward and really got into that conversation. It was 2021. He had 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That was a season where it's like, okay, Dak has now graduated past the point of a guy who's just okay. That's a guy who can be in the MVP conversation. You look at it, that took 6 seasons to get to that point. And I guess that's where the overall point of this entire conversation is about patience with a quarterback. Because I think whichever way you look at it, if Dak's the guy you want Justin Fields to be like, or if you can see how guys develop later with more assets or perhaps a better situation like Geno Smith with the Seahawks, both of those situations have taken patience to get to that point. Mm-hmm. Dak flashed obviously much earlier, which allowed the Cowboys to sign him long-term, and that's why he's been there with the Cowboys for the amount of time that he's been. He was a 30-year-old quarterback. He was drafted in 2016. So, he's a quarterback who's played in the league for quite some time. Geno Smith was drafted to a crap franchise that essentially is still a crappy franchise. They thought they figured it out this season with bringing in Aaron Rodgers. It didn't work out for them. They're under 500. They're not going to make the playoffs. They've never been good. The Jets have never been good. Like, is that on Geno Smith? Or is that on a bad franchise? And I think that's where I'm connecting dots to Justin Fields. Is Justin Fields broken? Is he a bad quarterback? Or has this franchise been a bad franchise for a long time and we have let down the quarterback prospect? I think that's where it comes to, because it's all about the patience.
Yeah, I think that if because a lot of the conversation today on ESPN Chicago has been about Jordan Love or Justin Fields, right? Like, what would you rather have, Jordan Love or Justin Fields? My answer was Justin Fields, because I think I've seen more out of Justin Fields than I have out of Jordan Love. Like, the highs are higher for Justin Fields, I believe, than Jordan Love. I think he's a better athlete. I think he's a better runner than Jordan Love. I think he brings a different element to the table than Jordan Love. Like, the Seahawks have an out after this year. Do you like they wouldn't owe him as much money? He signed a 3-year deal, but there's an out after this year. Like, I don't know if the Seahawks think that he's the long-term answer, and I would be maybe take a run at Kirk Cousins next year, because they're not going to be in a position to draft a quarterback very high up. Whereas the Bears, like, you still have to have that in the back of your mind. Like, do you want to have patience with Justin Fields? Do you want to say, hey, look, he's been, when everyone's healthy, when they're playing well, like when the offensive line holds up, like this offense is humming, like they can adjust to different game plans. Yeah, the screen game sucked. It was a boring game, but they won the game and it worked, right? It worked that time. Against the Lions a week ago, running him 18 times for over 100 yards was working until the defense let them down at the end of the game, right? So there's different ways he can win. He can beat you with screen game. He can beat you with his legs. He can throw some good deep balls. We've seen him adjust. We've seen some throws this year where he can step up in the pocket and make those throws. But in the back of your mind, you have to think of the bigger picture. Should you have patience with Justin Fields, or is the franchise letting him down? But they also have the #1 pick right now. And can you risk having patience? It's more of a risk reward thing. Like, can you risk having patience with Justin Fields when you have the talent that's coming out of college this year?
Yeah, that's the conversation that's going to be debated all winter into the spring. I think that the problem, that the hang up I have with that is there's no guarantee with either side of it.
Of course.
I think it's very easy for people to just give up and say, well, you got to draft a quarterback. Like, to me, like, that's such an easy opinion when it comes to sports, because it requires no skin in the game.
I don't want to give up on him.
Like, you don't have to really put anything on the idea that they should just draft a quarterback, because, like, there's no guarantee that whoever you draft when you get to that point is going to be better than Justin Fields. Like, who said, like, Fields is a great prospect. For it to not work out, we didn't know it would be to this point. He has had some success, though.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, is, like, to this point with Justin Fields, it's not as if he is a complete bust. We've seen guys from his class who are absolute trash busts.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
Yep.
Trey Lance.
Yep.
Mac Jones.
Yep.
All three of them cannot play.
Nope.
Absolutely cannot play. The difference is Justin can play a little. Now, is he great? No, he's not great. Is he Dak Prescott now? No, he's not. To me, I think he has all the tools Dak has. I don't see any difference in the football player between Dak and Justin Fields. Now, if you want to say at this point in his career that Dak has better decision-making and has better command of his offense, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you look at the caliber of the athlete, I mean, they're both the exact set. They both can make the throws. They can run. You saw Dak last night fight for more yardage after getting hit outside the pocket. Like, I don't see any difference there.
I don't want to give up on Justin Fields just yet. Like, I still think these 5 games left are meaningful. People will say, well, we've got 2.5 years to look at Justin Fields. What's 5 games going to matter? 5 games can matter a lot for Justin Fields. Like, if they go, 4-1 or 3-2, depending on how those games go, like, if they beat the Browns defense is one of the best in the NFL. Like, if they find a way to beat the Browns, then by all means, like, that changes things. If they hang again with the Lions and they find a way to win because it's a home game, like, that's going to be a little bit different. Like, the conversation is going to change and evolve in these next 5 weeks after this bye coming up here. But again, we're leading you into the Pac-12 championship game coming up at 8 o'clock. Like, there's 2 quarterbacks in that game that are going to be available. One of them has played a lot of college football in Bo Nix. Like, that's a guy where, okay, maybe you trade back after the first pick and you end up taking Bo Nix later in the first round, wherever your pick is, right? A lot of people love what Michael Penix is doing. He's often injured. He looks like he's been injured the last few weeks. But he's someone that you could get in, if you had a second round pick, that you could maybe get back in the second round, late in the first round. Like, there are options out there. That's going to be the problem is that this clock is ticking for the Bears. Like, this isn't let's just wait and see what he does next year after they get another offensive lineman and after maybe they get a better wide receiver and Marvin Harrison Jr., because you have to make the decision on the 5th-year option this year.
Yeah, but that's an easy, like, that's not like the end of the world type of decision. It's a bigger decision to pass up on the quarterbacks in the draft.
Absolutely.
Than it is to, because, like,
sure.
you could still pick up the 5th-year option and draft a quarterback and have Justin be here with whoever that be.
That's a $25 million option, though.
Well, especially if you're bringing in someone who's not a first-round quarterback. That's the point that I'm making.
For sure.
You look at the early days, Geno Smith played 33 games for the Jets. He was terrible.
Yeah.
Now, this is his 4th season with the Seahawks, and he looks like an above-average quarterback. Last year, he was. He was a good quarterback last year. I would say he's also a good quarterback this year.
I think it comes down to coaching more than Fields. Like, I think it comes down to, like, if I'm...
And that's my point to why patience, I think, is necessary with this entire situation, because you watched 2 guys yesterday. Both teams have been paid, or the Seahawks now are reaping the benefits of utilizing someone who is this far along in their career, who was a throwaway player, right? Like,
I'm of the
Geno,
belief,
when he was done with the Jets, we would have had the same commentary as Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones
Like, I'm of the
can't
belief
play.
if you put Fields on the 49ers, I think he'd be a good quarterback. I think if you put him on the Seahawks, he'd be a good quarterback. It's coaching. It's having the offensive scheme. Like, all the calls we took after the game against the Vikings were not mad at Justin Fields. They were not. They were mad at Luke Getsy and the screen game and the lack of going down the field. Justin Fields only goes with the plays that they call in the huddle. Like, they call a screen, he's throwing a screen pass, right? They're not saying, hey, go over the top. They're saying call screen. They're calling the screen game. So I'm more upset with the way that Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus have coached Justin Fields than I am with Justin Fields, the player.
Mike in Oswego, you're on ESPN 1000. All calls welcome. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. Fantastic radio. Great conversation.
Thanks,
appreciate you guys going back to the Geno thing. That's my whole point. I don't think we should be talking Geno Smith and Justin Fields in the same universe. I understand that Jets' timing was pretty bad. He didn't look great at all, and you want to boost up the Seahawks coaching. But is there a specific person on the Seahawks organization that made Geno Smith a better quarterback, or was it simply time in a different division, a different conference, different opponent? I think Geno Smith had to like Trevor Lawrence, not a Justin Fields, and both of the Smith and Lawrence are a top 10 discussion, and Fields is on the brink of being fired, right? So I love the Bears more than anything, but long-term quarterbacks, getting a guy like Marvin Harris Jr. to do what? To sit on the dashes and not catch a football because Justin Fields can't get it on? The graphic Monday night. He's the longest quarterback. He's the only quarterback, I guess the worst quarterback in the NFL for timing. He holds on to the football way too long. It's been his Achilles heel his entire career. I think it's like 2.9 seconds he's not throwing the football. So what are we going to have, slant routes and guys just roll up on him because Justin Fields can't get them the ball on time, ruin their careers? We've had a miserable time as a franchise with quarterback. I understand that. It could be coincidence. You guys were kind of pulling it together, discussing why the franchises matter more. So I'm more curious to like listen to you guys go further on that, because I don't know if it's necessarily just with experience Geno Smith became a better quarterback. If you look at his QBRs right now, 88, 90%. That's fantastic. What's Justin Fields' QBR? Mid-70s? Low 70s? You know what I mean?
Justin Fields' QBR right now is 44.7, 23rd in the NFL.
44.7 QBR?
Yeah, QBR is out of 100. If you're talking about quarterback rating, it would be much higher. Quarterback rating, his quarterback rating is 92.3.
Justin Fields got 92.3 QBR quarterback rating?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Dang. All right.
Stats.
I mean,
Stats,
Geno
bro. Smith's
Smith's QBR this year is 56.5.
By comparison, everyone's talking up Jordan Love. Jordan Love's is 87 quarterback rating.
Geno Smith ain't at 56, is he? Is that what I heard?
His QBR is 56.
No shot.
I'm looking at it right. What do you mean no shot? I'm
stats.
looking at it right now.
Geno Smith for the
ProFootballReference.com.
season, his quarterback rating is 89. So Fields has a better quarterback rating than both Geno and Jordan Love.
So Geno's at 89, Love's at 87, and Love Fields is at 92?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Hmm.
Okay. You know what? I guess it is more of a debate than I thought.
All right.
Thank you, Mike. Have a great night.